Trapped in a maze with no memories and no way out, this group of young boys is forced to find answers to every question. How did they get there? Who are they? And most importantly, how do they escape? The movie opens with a boy waking up in a lift as it stops. The group of boys open it and take the young man outside. He tries escaping, but realizes the entire place is surrounded by huge walls. He is quickly imprisoned, but is released by the leader Albie, who was the first one that got there. He asks him about himself, but he has no memories. Albie tells him no one has memories when they arrive. He shows him around the Glade and tells him that once a month, the box comes up, bringing supplies and a new member. No one knows who sent them there. The young man notices an opening in the wall, and Albie tells him it leads to a maze. The door opens in the morning and closes at night. Only runners go in to look for a way out, but if you are trapped, the grievers get you. Intrigued by the door, the young man looks as Minho and Ben come out from the maze. As he moves to the door, he is pushed down by Golly. That evening, Newt tells him that runners have dedicated 3 years to finding a way out. As the boy tells him he wants to be a runner, Golly challenges him to spar. As Golly knocks him down, he finally remembers his name, Thomas. That evening, he gets flashes of memories, including a doctor and a young woman. The next day, Thomas heads to the woods, where we see Ben attacking him, accusing him of doing something to them. Thomas manages to escape and run to the Glade before Newt strikes Ben with a shovel. The group quickly discovers that Ben has been stung by a griever. That evening, Ben is banished inside the maze before the door closes. That night, Thomas dreams about a woman telling him wicked is good. The next day, Minho and Albie head inside the maze, and when they all gather for them to return, the door starts closing, and they see Minho carrying the injured Albie. Everyone screams at them, but the door isn't much further from closing. Suddenly, Thomas slips inside and reaches them before the door closes. Thomas and Minho carry Albie through the maze when they see the grievers. They try to hide Albie in a wall of vines, but as they do, Minho is spooked by a griever and starts running. Thomas struggles to keep Albie up and ends up hiding in the vines. He secures Albie and runs through the maze when he is encountered by a griever. He runs from it, and when the griever is stuck in vines, he can escape and reunite with Minho. The next day, they finally return to the Glade. Golly points out that Thomas broke the rules, and since he killed a griever, he should be punished, but Minho says he wants Thomas to be a runner. Suddenly, they hear the box come up. When it opens, a young woman is lying with a note saying she is the last one. She wakes up saying Thomas's name before passing out again. Thomas wants to go back in the maze, and even though Minho hesitates, he agrees and gathers a few more boys to join them. Inside, they find the dead griever and a device on it with the number 7 and the letters Wicked. They bring the device to the group, but Golly still thinks Thomas should smash that like and subscribe button. No, he thinks Thomas should be punished, so he is put in the pit for the night, but Newt still makes him a runner. Minho shows Thomas the runner's cabin, where they've made a map of the maze. They already know there is no way out, but with the device, they may have a chance. He tells Thomas how the maze works and about the sections of it. The girl wakes up, but has climbed the watchtower, throwing rocks at everyone. Thomas calms her down and climbs up. She reveals her name is Teresa, and that she remembers he was in the water being watched by others, and a woman saying wicked is good. Thomas reveals that he has similar memories, and he remembers seeing her in his dreams. Inside her pocket, Teresa found 2 syringes with the letters wicked on them. Thomas suggests they use one of them on Albie, but as they inject him, he loses consciousness. The next morning, Minho and Thomas go inside the maze and see that Section 7 is open, although it isn't supposed to be. Inside, they find metal structures they refer to as blades, along with Ben's clothes. Suddenly, the griever's device starts beeping. They follow the sound, and it leads them to an area that even Minho doesn't recognize. When they reach a dead end, the beeping stops and the number turns green. A door opens, revealing a new path. A red light scans them, and when they hear something nearby, they both start running. The blades start closing, and the walls start collapsing, closing off the section. Both of them manage to barely escape. When they return to the Glade, they reveal they found a new path. Minho assumes this is where the grievers go during the day. Golly argues with them before they are interrupted by Teresa, saying Albie is awake. When Thomas goes in to talk to Albie, he shares the good news about a way out, but Albie tells him they won't let them leave. Suddenly, Albie remembers everything and tells Thomas how he was their favorite. Outside, the door to the maze isn't closing, and now more doors open around the glade. Suddenly, grievers emerge from the walls, and everyone runs to take cover. The grievers end up destroying everything in their way, and even take some of the gladers. They try to hide from them, but eventually, their cover gets blown. Out of nowhere, Albie is taken by a griever. As Thomas tries to bring Albie down, Albie tells him to run before the grievers take him. Suddenly, all the grievers are gone. Golly rushes to Thomas and punches him, accusing him of causing everything, and that he is one of the people who sent them there. Convinced that Golly is right, he picks up the griever's stinger and stabs himself in the leg. As he loses consciousness, he sees a facility where all of them were when they were younger. He sees every one of the gladers in the tanks as they are monitored by scientists. When he wakes up, he and Teresa are inside a pit. Thomas quickly explains that he remembers that the Glade is a test that began when they were kids. Since they were kids, they were experimented on until they started disappearing one by one. He confirms that he and Teresa worked for the people that sent them there, but is unsure why they are there. The next day, Golly has decided to banish Thomas and Teresa to the maze. Although many are hesitant, Golly is determined. As they try to push Thomas in, he attacks them, and Minnow, Newt, Chuck, and the others join them. The group heads into the maze and into Section 7. They are faced with a griever who they manage to fight off. However, more grievers emerge. Teresa and Chuck manage to open the tunnel with the sequence that Minnow has revealed. The walls start coming down, crushing the grievers, and a door opens. When they reach the surveillance room, Thomas plays a video of Dr. Ava Page, where she congratulates the viewer for winning the maze trials. She shows that the sun has destroyed the Earth, killing millions of people. A new virus has emerged, but they've learned that the younger generation is immune to it. They've gathered them in the Glade to monitor them and formulate a cure. As the video ends, Thomas finds her body and another door opens. Suddenly, Golly appears behind them, but he has been stung. He points a gun at Thomas and tells them they belong to the maze. As he pulls the trigger, Chuck jumps in front of Thomas as Minnow throws a spear at Golly. Golly dies, and Chuck is shot. Shortly after, Chuck passes away. Suddenly, armed people storm in and take them all outside. All of them are thrown into a helicopter and are assured they are safe as they fly away from the maze. In the meantime, Ava holds a meeting as she wipes the fake blood from her forehead. She announces that the maze trial was successful. The group can now move forward to Phase 2. Subscribe for more videos like this, and turn on the notifications so you never miss any of them.